Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Looks like the SPY was down towards the daily expected move, actually past the daily expected move early on this morning. Is it some kind of trap? We'll find out as this 30-minute has not crossed up yet. The Qs in a little bit similar boat, right? Coming down towards their daily expected move. Now we're seeing that thing start to buy back up at the yearly expected move. The weird thing about the Qs was, hey, we got that to cross up, so you would expect that to continue, but another fake outcome. So it seems we're getting a few little fake outs. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very tough one, but overall that usually means you're building liquidity and a big move is coming. Looking for volatility. Well, something to pay attention to with volatility here is this right now. Right now is a moment to pay attention. This is a little bit different than this crossover right here. Yes, we had a 15-minute divergence, but you have another 15-minute divergence here, and you do see that divergence showing on the 30-minute for the RSI, telling you, hey, this could pull back again. Right? And we want to pay attention if that 2 hour is able to pull down, and then maybe we get an actual good reversal signal. That's what we're really looking for, a reversal signal at the same time on the SPY, and or for the SPY on the upside in the opposite direction. We're looking to see that for volatility. If we don't get that, that's fine. We're just going to see 30 minutes continue to curl up and not be able to crash right back down. But I just wanted you to be aware this morning as you pull up a 15-minute, this divergence led to that. So what's this little divergence going to lead to here, as it seems even weaker than the last time? So that is something to pay attention to. It would tell you that early on in the morning, maybe there is some kind of trap set, but in order to see that trap actually play out, the most, at least in the highest probability, is going to have to be the 30-minute here needs to cross down. And what that'll do is this 30-minute will cross down, and that'll allow the SPY to cross up at the same time. And so you see how these things happen at the same time. It's a little bit better, right? We curled up like this. This was an insufficient handle, you would say at this point. We could still be creating new structure to head higher, right? We still can do that. So let's pay attention to that for now. If we start to curl over bigger time frames, which we already have, so I do not think we have much time left. I think if we do make an upward move, then it's going to be some kind of trap that leads to a downfall, just because you have your 4 hour charts that are starting to cross. You have the Qs on the 4 hour that has been crossed, and a lot of things happening over with the Dow Jones crossing down on the 4 hour as well. So this is all leading us to believe that, hey, we are approaching that top, but it looks like we could be building liquidity, maybe going into earnings. Earnings can be a 50-50 flip, and that can, take these technicals out of the way a little bit when it does come to the SPY. Something interesting this morning was Apple. Apple seeing some downside here. If it curls down this 2 hour today, that's not going to be a good sign for the near future, just to be aware of that. And looking at the 30-minute, we were talking about how there is some form of weakness up here, even though you're getting some structure to maybe create that handle now. You still can create that handle now, turn back up into positive territory. But for now, look at this, look at that, look at that. So you do have weakness in this area, and that's starting to produce right now on the 30-minute. You need that to whip back around early on in the day. Amazon actually going to lower levels, not able to curl up on that 30-minute just yet. That's going to be one to pay attention to. If we're going to get that next move higher, that could be some kind of fake out move as well. NVIDIA actually showing the divergence points, showing that flat divergence here and divergence, triple divergence across for the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time, but you do have one in the nearest price action. If this were to curl over, this could be the first leg, but just notice we're still above 5-day moving averages. We haven't even crossed down 2 hour charts yet. But this is going to be the main signal again to watch. I know we got one fake out here. We held up a little longer. Now we're going up towards that weekly expected move. We'll see if we can get there. AMD, this one trying to curl up, right? It is doing a good job of that, but it needs to go positive to see some good positivity, because if you just curl down on this 30-minute, it means lower prices for AMD. Meta, this one trying to give us that good signal. This is what we were looking for a hint yesterday. We were looking for this for a hint yesterday. Can we form some kind of reversal signal here for Meta that can get us back above that 5-day moving average? That's what we're going to look for today. As we have confirmed that, we're going to look if this 2 hour is able to curl up for some kind of, I would say, retest of 582.50, somewhere in this level would be good. And then you have to see, is that consolidating to head higher, or is that going to reject and turn back down? So that would look like if the 2 hour is able to cross in this area and remain by the center line. Okay, so there is some stuff to pay attention. Just look at it. Just look at it, will ya? Oh God, what a funny skit. Just look at it. We still have next week to rally, and that could be with the earnings, right? So we still could rally further. We always want to be open to this going further, but it looks like it is starting to slow down very dramatically. And the main thing is we just, you can sit and chill and be like, okay, we're still forming this divergence on the weekly scale. We're getting really tight, so most likely we don't have much time left, but you see how we could buy ourselves another week and remain in this and then maybe see something bad happen. I think it will happen before then. I was really leaning towards like late last week, and now the way it's set up, I think this 2 hour does have an opportunity to curl up into positive territory, and we see a little bit more upside. But I'll just take into consideration one thing. Volatility hasn't turned down yet, right? We still need this to turn down on a 30-minute for us to be like, okay, this is some kind of trap at this point, and maybe we do head up towards a daily expected move. We have a gap here, we have a gap here, so filling both of those and then creating the 2 hour divergence down here would be a good thing, right? We could see some kind of reversal signal from both the SPY and volatility at the same time, just in opposite directions. Bitcoin, a little bit worried about Bitcoin, to be honest. I was looking at it this morning. Now, one thing is, this 2 hour does have a good opportunity to curl up, okay? This 2 hour does have a good opportunity to curl up, but look at the positioning of the MACD right now. That's gonna have to be a strong move, take back the 5, right? So you're looking for us to get back up to these type of levels, get up to there, maybe create that handle to head higher, right? But there's a problem here, and that's the structure that you're creating right now, and lower high looks a little bit likely here for the 2 hour. So this could be a top, just because you reacted down to the perfect level, right? We reacted down to the perfect level, and if you get that reaction up, you can reject off of the 5-day moving average, that blue line right here that's kind of stair-stepping. You can react off of that, and what would that do? Well, it'd get you in the perfect point to make pretty much a perfect little head and shoulders here. So paying attention to that, you can also, I'm sure people can also say cup and handle, but for the most part, if this 2 hour curls up, just watch if it's short-lived, because that can start to cross down and that can get a little uglier for Bitcoin. If it can curl up and take back the 5, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different if, say, the 4 hour curls up into positive territory, right? So if the 4 hour is able to curl up, that means this is going to be a stronger move, right? It'll get above the 5 in order to do that, and then, hey, take out the high, go make a new one at that point because you're still positive. That's what I would say about Bitcoin. That is going to affect the Mara and things like that as well. GME's been trying, right? It curled down on the 2 hour. That's fine, right? That's good. All in good with that. I want to see if I can get a reaction. Sorry, that's a 4 hour. The 2 hour trying to react down to here, looking for that 2 hour divergence we were talking about. You're just seeing selling upon selling upon selling right now, which most people that are holding this on the retail side are doing just that. They're holding this. So most likely this is another way for them to push stocks down, but watch out when that thing breaks out, because that could be a big deal. One thing that I want to do is go see if AMC is doing anything different as well. AMC not able to curl down on a 2 hour. Well, that's fine. If the 30-minute is going to cross up here, we're still all good and dandy, okay? We're trying to get that momentum to the upside. Yeah, home builders falling off a cliff. And we were talking about this in the housing sector. Okay, we were talking about this in the housing sector because what you have here are some major divergence points. And I know that these tickers, yeah, they're good to look at. It's good to look at XHB. It's good to look at that kind of stuff. I just prefer to look at the HGX, the housing sector here, and you'll just notice those it looks very similar, just a little more spread out. And here's the thing, if that daily were to cross right now, that would be a bad thing. Look at Nail, because Nail's already open. Nail can maybe give us a little hint, and look at that big drop from Nail. So that's not necessarily going to be a good thing. I'm going to look for this real. Here. That's a good find, though, for sure, a good find. Give me one moment. I got to reposition something real quick. But looking at Palantir, you're going to see if this 30-minute can cross up into positive territory. That's going to be a good thing. right? That's your first indication. If that's a little stronger, it takes the 2 hour up. You'll probably end up with Palantir doing this. A lot of retail in Palantir. 2 hour divergence is most likely thing. So if you need a weekly range where you think that is most likely to stop, we give those out on Patreon, right? Everyone always asks me, hey, where do you think the support is? Where do you think the resistance is for the week for Palantir, for Apple, for Tesla, for Nvidia, for AMD, for all these other stocks that we do cover, Microsoft, Google, all these stocks, gold, GLD, right? But the thing is, I always just say, hey, it's wherever that weekly expected move is, right? Wherever that weekly expected move, it is the best support and resistance you can get. That's why we encourage people to join the Patreon. And if we do see setups around those moves, we try to post them if they look highly probable. But yeah, I think you're paying attention to the right stuff, guys. I mean, genuinely, people coming in and paying attention to the housing market right away, paying attention to home builders, that is a big deal. And housing can give you a good indication of where things are ready to go. As of right now, we do have SPY testing the daily expected move. Is this, well, I guess you wouldn't really say it's some kind of handle at this point. You'd probably have to react down to this level, which can get some kind of reaction up. So really would have liked to have seen this get down a little bit lower, then get that reaction. Then we can start to turn it down. That would have been a little better in my opinion, but we don't necessarily need structure to head lower. We just need to see if volatility is going to turn down, because that'll tell us, hey, volatility is going away for a little bit, or at least we have the chance to keep bouncing, and then we'll have to see if that creates a reversal signal there. Take a look at IWM. IWM, very interesting, going towards a weekly expected move. IWM seeing some serious weakness here. And weirdly enough, we are in a period of time where that 10-year yield is kind of going up for the most part, right? We can kind of look at this, we go like this, and we caught a little bit of stuff down here with the daily divergence going on, telling you, hey, this has a chance to pop. And we told you guys about, you know, how TLT looked like a good setup to the downside for a little bit. So this right here is going, okay, I have this structure. Now I curl up and look at that positivity come in. And we even gravitated towards our 4.062 and we continue to head higher. So does this have a chance to roll around? Well, 4 hour divergence, right? So 4 hour divergence popping up here, which tells us TLT might be able to see some kind of bounce. So I'd be looking at this 2 hour. I mean, there's not great 30-minute structure, but if that 2 hour takes off, we can maybe see a good move here from TLT, or at least a reversal in the trend, right? We've been in a negative trend for a little bit of time, right? A little bit of time. That's the setup we saw. See the 2 hour divergence? Boom, right there. That told you downside. And look, we got it. So now we're getting that in the opposite direction. We have to pay attention if that can curl up. Right now, there's no 30-minute divergence in here for TLT. Oh, there's one thing I was doing. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to do this. Change some stuff. All right. Now looking at the SPY down by the daily expected move, did the Qs, were they able to turn this thing back down? And you notice they're trying to hold up. We're trying to hold up. We're trying to hold up. So that's telling us, hey, watch if this 2 hour crosses, right? Crosses back up. That's going to be a big deal again. But I think the SPY is going to be your good indication here if we're going to see a higher level. Just notice here that from this point right here, you've really been pulling back with time. Pulling back with time. If Google would pull back on the 2, sorry, if Google turns on the 2. If Google turns on the 2, yeah, that's a swing trade signal that can lead to higher prices. Okay? So you have to be cautious with it, right? Know how to manage your trades, but for the most part, Google would say, hey, I am trying to at least take out this high and go make a new one. So immediately when I see a look like this, what am I doing? Right away, I'm clicking over and I'm going, what's the weekly range for Google? All right, what's the weekly range for Google? And I go, okay, it's right up in there. Okay, so how high could this go? Well, 170. 170 looks like the level it could get to at this moment. Somewhere around 170. I think it's a little before that. That hasn't curled down. That did. You need that to come back. I was looking at the positions here, seeing if I wanted to take anything. I'm still in the low here, so I'm waiting to see if that curls down. I'd really like the 30-minute to curl back up. Oh, we're reacting off the 5. Very, very good. Good move, reacting off the 5 for AMC. And the SPY losing the 5. Dow's actually doing the right thing, right? The SPY, we said, hey, this would be nice if it got down to here again, right? It'd be nice if it got down to here again and then consolidated to head lower. One thing that you're noticing about the Dow is it's kind of getting to that level right here. So you can see a reaction up, but look at the positioning of the MACD. Higher likelihood of a lower high. You're below that 5. So watch for a reaction if we get that to make some kind of handle in some way. The big thing about the Dow right now is boom to the downside, right? It's just saying, hey, I want to head lower is what this is overall saying from this this look right here for the 4 hour. Okay, so now we want to look at the daily and go, okay, now that's crossing. And we have multiple point divergence all the way across this thing. So the Dow is saying, hey, there is major weakness here. We can still see rip around type stuff. We have earnings and stuff. As volatility is still up towards 20, we can continue to see those rip arounds. So watch the shorter time frames. But the bigger macro scale here is starting to say, hey, downside is the most likely option. We'll see if that comes to fruition. That confirmed down. SPY's on the verge of doing it. Qs are doing it right now. So the Qs really have to hold up here. The SPY really has to hold up here in order to see positivity. And that's not a good look. But notice we go directly towards the daily expected move. Then we got to see how that PCC does open up in a little bit. Dollar continuing to climb here. If things will load. There you go. So that 30-minute has not crossed down yet. And you've actually done something interesting. You've curled up a bigger time frame. So you can notice that the 4 hour does see reactions. Okay, when it's lower in negative territory, you get reactions. And then we'll see if we can leak this out a little bit higher, right? See if something like this sets up again, like over here. We get some kind of 4 hour reaction. That turns back down, right? Get some kind of 4 reaction, and then we turn back down. Maybe we create that divergence point. Maybe it takes a little bit of time. We'll see. But that's what happened last time. So we'll see if this happens this time. I think you're more likely to see this setup if we're going to see a top this week. One more euphoric move. Let's see what's going on. What is going on? Hold on, just have to redo some stuff real quick. It's weird. Go. mess this up. Let's hope that happened for a reason. I just messed up my orders and I have to like clear everything. That's very annoying. That is my bad. God damn. Yeah, I'm trying to move stuff around and I clicked on, I had like the same amount of contracts in two things. And I just was kind of getting out of one to see the further date. Didn't want to fully roll because that's annoying sometimes. So I just wanted to sell out and get back in, but I messed it up. At least it's in cash now, I guess. Yeah, make sure some B-Hub's not playing. Nah. You don't need that stuff, guys. That stuff gross. Nvidia seeing that upward move take you past these levels for the divergence. So you're violating one of the divergences now for the 30-minute, right? You're violating one. Is that really a beat? Yeah, well, they're going to change a lot of stuff all the time, right? They're going to make it look okay all the time, it seems. Okay, AMD, that's a good little spike down. That might jump into some buyers or something. I'm gonna reposition something. Ooh, that's a good curl up. 2 hour curling up here for Microsoft and Google. Got a hold for an hour and a half, but pretty good. SMCI gonna try to curl up, it seems. Looks like we might make that next push higher. Palantir already doing it, right? 2 hour divergence can be there. We'll see if that holds for an hour and a half. And then we'll see if the 2 hour can turn down, right? We'll see if this 30-minute turns down. That's gonna be something big to watch. Oh, my chat disconnected. My internet must have shut off for a second. What the heck? Yeah, they just lower it, so then they beat, so then they cause euphoria when really the numbers have been lowered. Man, they were projected not to do as much. Well, we could just lower those projections every single time and every single earnings would be bullish. Let's see over here. Let me look at news next week. I mean, I know the election and that's going on, but that's not next week, right? Jolts on Tuesday, so GDP growth rate on Wednesday. Tuesday is Jolts job openings. Friday we get durable goods, core PCE, unemployment rate Friday, November 1st. That is my Wi-Fi is going nuts over here right now. Sorry about that, guys. Still think this is going to be the important thing to watch. Yeah, and if earnings pushes us past making these divergences, that's going to be kind of a big deal. Right, because we can push this thing, like someone was mentioning, a week or two. Because if you get rid of everything we have right now, right, then that means you're going to make this at higher levels again. If this all comes to fruition. Right now you're losing the 5, you're crossing down some bigger time frames. So that's worrisome. Volatility rejected. Look at Tesla making a downward move. Amazon wicking up. Nvidia holding multiple point divergence, and AMD just shooting down. Not able to see full-on buyers come back in yet. Meta tried to get the positivity, kind of failed. Microsoft's seeing some good stuff. Google's seeing some good stuff. AMC GME starting to curl down even more. Gold's been nutty. And oil really basing out here. Something to be aware of is when oil moves, that's when you can pay attention maybe more so to geopolitical stuff, but you do have 4-hour divergence, 2-hour divergence, not at the same time on the RSI. So you'll see if this daily can curl up, but you see if it does, how that would be a higher low, and we can start to head up. Now, the other side to that is this could be some kind of structure in here, and we could bounce up and then tear through that, right, with a nice little head and shoulders type of look. We shall see, my friends. We shall see. I just think that the Dow really isn't liking this right now. I'm kind of confirming that topping signal right as... we're still far away from the center line, so we always have that opportunity to turn up. I just think that we're in a massive trap because of the dollar. And that is really teetering right now. But is it just going to cross up on a 2-hour? That's all we have to see here. All right, let me go over here. Come on, this is going to be our little hint. Let's just watch our little hint. We did take back the 5. That's a little bit different than this push. Just we have that reversal signal that could cross today. So that's what we're paying attention to, just the pullback signal. Apple's at a key level. Tesla trying to buy up. There's Tesla's move for the week too. 240. We could get all the way back up to gap fill by the time this is done. Probably looks smoother on an hourly. No real golden setup here before earnings. That's unfortunate because you could just shoot down. Be careful with Tesla. That was a big drop. It's been behaving very funky ever since. Gosh, that 2-hour divergence is not good looking. Oh, everyone's trying to short right now too. PCC at 1.05 tells me maybe I can be a little patient and wait for the end of the week to reposition these actually, so I'll take it as a blessing. I feel you might need to pull back more than that. IWM at a weekly expected move. Creating some 15-minute rejection divergence maybe there at these levels for some kind of 30-minute bounce. Just notice that is very deep into negative territory. But this is where we have to start looking for, hey, is this thing going to bounce from here and use that as support? We'll see. 68% chance to land above that. Netflix was interesting. AMC, gotta see if this is turning down on a 2-hour. Looks likely. GME is definitely doing it right now. Alrighty, those still look okay. Main one to watch here. Sorry, I'm just really trying to look at some stuff here. Just really want to see if this is going to curl down. A lot of people going in the put side real quick. Let me see here. 15 confirmed. Interesting. Okay, SPY. Make sure you're paying attention to this. Look at this. You know, a 15-minute little thing going on here. Now that doesn't mean, hey, big stuff is going to happen just because of this right here, but this is something that can make you get that first bounce. You start to curl up that 2 hour, then we'll be talking about higher prices. Still got to see that confirm. Now we'll find out, but once this does confirm, we're looking okay again. I guess the better way to say it is if this does confirm, because in some way you could be going down, right? But if that's something to pay attention to, it is at a daily expected move with the signal, So if this turns up, that can be momentum shifting back up for a 30-minute turn up, right? A 30-minute turn up. It doesn't mean all's done, right? But it can be, if that 30 minutes strong, then it can curl up that 2 hour and then we can really get going. See, do the Qs do anything with the 15? Qs more so looking like, hey, I'm trying to cross down right now. This 15-minute bar could be a little important. Haven't lost anything crazy just yet. Just see if that can push us higher, right? We're kind of stuck here. IWM as well, just forming something at the same time. So you're not only seeing the SPY show it on a and reaching a daily, but you're seeing the IWM show it while it touches a weekly. So that tell me if the weekly does do that, like, right, if the 15 minutes starts to do this, that might be a rejection divergence in some way, or if it forms that divergence and turns back up, that's fine. But that will be a sign that these 30 minutes can start to bounce a little bit. But I think lower high here is very, very likely for IWM, testing this level, or even going all the way up and testing this level up here, about 225, I think would make sense. I think this is what we need to watch. Let's just keep it on this for a little bit. And sorry, I'm clicking around. I'm trying to look at a bunch of stuff right now. I'll do it over here so you guys can stay on the SPY. Let me change my layout so I'm not drawing random stuff on your guys' charts. And didn't even have those yet. Very significant divergence at that daily expected move. So it tells you like, hey, at this point, we're pointing down. So let's see if we break through and see something crazy. But if that turns around, then we can see, okay, that's most likely being used as support. We can maybe head higher from there. Relatively controlled at this moment. So nothing too big going on there. Let's look at down there. Ooh, gosh dang, the housing market, or the housing sector. Housing sector is saying, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, really. This is not looking good for the housing sector right now. You're in a place where you can experience a bounce though right away, like on the shorter time frames. You're in a place on this 30-minute where this would be a good level to create the structure to head lower, right? To grab more liquidity, grab that liquidity, and then see if we can get another drop. Boom, boom. Right shoulder. But I think this 15-minute is the most important thing in the market right now. This and volatility look like the two most important things I can find. We're buying a ton of time lately, though. All right, here we go. Little move. Still need a 15-minute to confirm up. Ooh, volatility spiking down right there with that move from the SPY. Ooh, volatility spiking down. So watch out, volatility does have that 30-minute divergence. Pretty good little, I would more say that looks kind of flaggy to me on volatility. So if that 2-hour crosses down, we're still looking for the reversal signal from the SPY and volatility at the same time. That will really help us out. Everyone trying to call the downfall, it seems today, with a 1.1 put to call ratio. And we've seen this difference from the dollar to the market for a long time, so that can continue. All right, that can continue, but I just want you to see how a lot of people putting puts into the market right now. We'll have to read into that for a second, see if that's actually going to tear down, or is this little 15-minute going to curl up and we end up towards a daily expected move by the end of the day. That's going to be what's interesting. If we can hit both in a day, that's cool. What would that be? Like a whole 1% almost from low? About, yeah, 1.1%. See if that crosses up. Doesn't have to be that strong, right? We've been just moving sideways. We can continue to move sideways here, right? You can see how we'd want to go higher. Now that we've created that base, ooh, what if we do that? Curl down, curl back up. That would be a nice little look. Hopefully, if we're going to get bullish, it just seems euphoric, then just turns down on a 2-hour. Because the housing sector is saying bad things. Volatility, just so you are aware, looks very, very close to crossing. Very close. You're losing that 5-day moving average again here. You got about 1:20 left in the bar. So that's going to be one to keep your eye on. I have it up on my other screen. But you have a very, very trap-like market, which I think is just because you're moving sideways in this little range to build more liquidity, and then you look for a break. Which way is this thing going to break, up or down, is kind of what we need to look for. Okay. We're in the middle of like pretty much like 20 minutes, and we might know if this thing's going to cross. or if it needs to go down for a double dip, like a little 5 or something. You go into a 5, you can see the stuff is there as well. You just want to see if this needs to go touch that again, right? You gotta look, that could be a cup and a handle, right? A very small one. So we're not out of the woods yet. But the 15-minute divergence, if that 15-minute can cross, then most likely that's going to be more than a handle, right? We'll end up going up over time. 30-minute for volatility, trying to cross over with this next bar right here. Because volatility is a little off from the bars from the SPY and the regular market there because of when it opens. So right now, volatility is turning down on a 30-minute. If you'd like to see that real quick. Now you still have 28 minutes left in the bar, 28 and a half minutes-ish, but you can see that that's starting to curl down. There is divergence at these points. So that means a 2-hour can turn down if this has some steam to it. It's like that 5 adjusted and then it turned green. That's funny. But I'll keep an eye on that. I think the rest of that bar, and we'll kind of know. We'll kind of see which way this thing wants to go. But right now, if volatility is giving you a little hint, it's saying, hey, I'm about to go down, which means most likely stocks do go up. It's going to be a slow stream here just because I think we need to really be focusing on this right here. I'll look at the chat in a moment. I just want to see if there's any kind of reactions now that the volatility is turning down on that 30-minute. What did the Qs look like here? Qs tried to do it, tried to break through. Didn't cross over on the 15. Sorry, the dots were up there. Didn't cross over on the 15. If the Qs need to go make that divergence, okay, they can dip down. Maybe we see something like that, right, in order to be bullish. But if that starts curling down the big time frames, right, we already see dailies trying to roll down here. Daily for the Qs is already rolled down, but it's holding decently well. All right, let's see what you guys are chatting about. Here's options over the next 30 to 60 days are pricing in a drop. So you might need something to shake some of that out. Now you're getting huge put levels right now. Huge put levels. As volatility does keep heading down, you're seeing some huge puts come into the market. And NVIDIA will still get to a new all-time high every day while the market drops. DJT looking bullish. Let's go check on DJT for fun. We don't want to look at a 15. We want to look at the 30. So this is a great level 2 cup and handle. That'd be the first thing. So even if this does back off a little bit, you kind of like that for structure heading higher. For the 2-hour here, you want to just see if that can rotate up at any time. So you can see, you could just be patient, see if that consolidation does happen, 30-minute confirmation, and then you might have this 2-hour ready to go. But if this 2-hour turns up at any time, you should expect it to take out these levels, make a new high. People are it seems very bearish with the PCC right now. My goodness gracious. And that might be why you're still seeing, someone mentioned that like long vol and UVIX are heading up. The reason those could be heading up is because people are really trying to buy those positions right now, thinking there's going to be a downfall. What changes their mind? That can mess with the pricing of stuff, right? If a bunch of people demand a certain price, the price of it might just go up. So what you need to pay attention to here is if that goes the other way on them, how quickly they will get out. It just means calls for certain things might be cheaper, or puts on volatility plays might be a little cheaper right now. We go pop over to volatility again, starting to dip even lower for volatility, confirming divergence as of right now. We got to see if that holds for about 25 minutes. You check the future, gold and the silver. We can check on gold real quick. Let's just check this real quick. For the most part, starting off on a 2-hour, got to see if that 2-hour can turn up. You do have potential for a double top here, right? You have potential for the 4-hour to be doing something interesting, get some kind of pullback in some way. You haven't reconnected with the 5 in a while. You haven't reconnected with that 5 in a while, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. You might have to go reconnect with that before heading higher, but if the daily here curls down, you gotta watch out because gold can see dramatic downside, all right? Weirdly enough, these look like gold looks like it's making some kind of top as well, to be honest. It's not as dramatic as this right here, but that didn't even lead to it. Now you have a similar thing going on, not exactly the same, but you can see the divergence points popping up here. So when that daily crosses, just watch out. That means you could be going through something a little bit worse. Maybe we head down to this level, create some kind of head and shoulders, right? See if we can get that downward trend to start here for gold. Looks a little bit toppy here for gold. Volatility, just to show that again real quick. You can see curling down on the 30-minute. We'll see if that's able to hold. How we're going to know if that's probably going to hold is if this SPY can confirm up on a 15. So, ooh, it was trying to make the next move higher. We don't want rejection off of the 5. We want to take back that 5 if we're going to get bullish here. But hopefully everyone's having a good day. IWM going to lose the 20 on the daily. The tricky part about IWM is it's making a divergence on the 15 outside of a weekly expected move. You can see crazy stuff here. So if this 15-minute does not turn back up, then there's nothing to do but say, hey, this is looking pretty damn bad, right? That's looking pretty bad. But notice the daily is about to cross. We're at a weekly expected move. That means it can see something crazy, right? If it doesn't want to hold up. So this 15-minute here for IWM, you can see how close it is to crossing. If that crossed and you're in crazy areas, you can see the options market really push this thing down, right? You can see a lot of calls get sold. A lot of people go to the put side really, really fast, okay? So what happens here is we need to pay attention to this right here. This is going to be very, very important for IWM. If it can hold this signal and turn back up into positive territory, that's how this thing gets saved. If not, you might be experiencing something ugly. So if IWM is going to experience something ugly, what's going to happen in the overall market? That's kind of what we're playing with. Those. Let's go check over here. Volatility trying to base out in some way. Remember that volatility did turn up on the what was it, 4-hour chart. So it's trying to hold up. It's trying. Will it be successful? No, these are 15-minute charts, though. Most important signal, IWM, SPY, 15-minute charts. Those are the most important signals for today. Because this did have the look of something that could be tricky, but a top. And so we'll see if that can come to fruition. If something crazy starts to happen, I think that's more likely. Just tons of puts rolling in. Tons. Amazon actually curled up on a 30-minute. Amazon's trying to confirm almost a cup and handle here, really curling up on that 30-minute into positive territory. We'll see if that can, it's already tested the highs. Now we got to see if it can break through and go make a new one. Nvidia 46. Little fishy there. Interesting market, that's for sure. 15-minute here for the Dow. Where's the DIA's expected move? I'll look over here. DIA is actually really close to a weekly expected move as well. So the Dow Jones is actually very close to a weekly expected move, just like a little bit lower. Pretty much right around these lows is where that weekly expected move is, so a reaction to there would make sense. But we're pretty much there at this moment. So you have the Dow at a weekly expected move. Let me double check. Yeah, you have pretty much the Dow at a weekly expected move, IWM at a weekly expected move. See if that divergence can turn you up, but the SPY also making that forming divergence here at a daily expected move at the same time. So all this is happening at the same time. Just got to see if things can turn up. The 5-minute roll up? 5-minute wasn't even able to roll up here. And that's pretty controlled. Yeah, that's pretty damn controlled, that's for sure. Look here. Volunteer might have failed that. Volatility trying its best to base out again. Looks like the 5-minute we might see volatility turn back up here. We'll see. Hasn't confirmed anything just yet. This. Looks like they are dedicating the downturn here for uncertainty about November rate cut is what I'm kind of hearing. Patient, patient, patient. Maybe by 10 o'clock we'll have our answer. But Amazon did curl up, just so you guys are aware, Amazon curling up on a 30-minute there. Apple trying to hold up at that key level where we, kept seeing the little traps. Island reversal is in play here. Nvidia wicking out a bunch here. Meta trying to participate. Ooh, Meta could turn up that 2-hour. Then you got AMC and GME just heading lower right now. Some CI turned down. Gold, no real hints there. Bitcoin actually held up here. See if that 2-hour can turn up. But still, this guy gonna be a big deal. You see how that's crossed? Need that on a negative bar, but there you go. We're trying to cross. You got 14 minutes left in this thing. That's why I think the SPY really important to turn up this 15 minutes. The next couple of bars, probably. What are you woofing at? Oh, he's asleep. My bad. All right, let's see what you guys are chatting about. Sorry about that. Yeah, and you're seeing those roll on the daily. So we're just seeing if this can hold. If they can't hold up with the shorter time frame, then we just look at the big time frame and go, oh, that crossed. Okay, right? We're just paying attention to this because it's by a daily expected move. So this is how they would trick us to shoot the market higher. So if they're not going to trick us, we'll just see things keep confirming down, right? IWM just looking kind of crazy though. IWM, see this making a move outside of that move, outside of the weekly expected move, and you see the daily just about to cross. So is IWM just saying, hey, this is GG's, right? That's kind of what IWM could be saying here. If that daily would cross, worse things can happen. That's why this 15-minute, we're going to need something here in order to buy this thing back up. Now, this is the only signal that can buy it back up. So you have time to where that daily can still cross down, say by end of day or tomorrow. Then once it does, it's saying it's toast. But you notice that that's happening at a weekly expected move, Dow's at a weekly expected move, and the SPY is at its daily expected move, all at the same time. That's great. Now we just have to see if these things actually turn up, because it could be not great, right? It could mean they're all at the expected move in order to see the big downfall. But we do have volatility that could give us a hint, right? That's why I'm paying close attention to volatility right now. Seeing if this 30-minute really does confirm down in about 12 minutes right now, showing indecision on a 30-minute pretty much right now. Which if this needed to, notice the divergence very, very significant. But look how low that level is down here for the RSI. If it needed to, it could do this and really fake you out, right? It could do that, make it a little bit deeper, still hold that divergence point. So we'll see. But if volatility turns down, the most likely thing would be, hey, we're probably going to see volatility subside, which usually means the bullishness can take back over. But as we break below the 5, it is a key time to pay attention. NVIDIA not looking the best, right? NVIDIA looking like running out of steam pretty quick here. It's interesting that NVIDIA, if that's going to see weakness, maybe it just holds up. But if that's going to see weakness, it would be very, very strange for the SPY to curl up into positive territory on the 15. It'd be kind of strange for things to hold up if NVIDIA is going to confirm some stuff down and looks worn out. All right, next bar. Surprised volatility didn't pop harder with all those people going to puts today. I guess 3.6% ain't bad right now, but be a slow one, isn't it? It's gonna be slow. I'll click around at other stuff. Look at some of these stocks that make up this stuff. Tesla trying to give a reversal. Amazon trying to make another move to break through. Amazon, you can see this next move trying to break through, creating a divergence point, but trying to break through. We'll see if that can come to fruition. Video looking super toppy here, a lot of wicks. Then you got things like AMD making a bunch of little 30-minute divergences there. AMD, bunch of little 30-minute divergence all across this thing now. So if that curls up, good things can start to happen again. Meta, 58 minutes left, but a pretty good bar here for Meta, just so you're aware. This 2 hour looks like a pretty damn good bar. If that can curl up, Meta can buy some time. Microsoft with a fantastic move before earnings. Interesting. Google with a very good move too. See that 2 hour curling up, 57 minutes left in the bar, but that 2 hour is curling up hard. Alphabet Inc. will purchase power from 7 modular reactors by Kairos Power, adding 500 megawatts by 2030. This supports its carbon targets and addresses increasing energy demands from AI expansion. And while Google is seeing that crazy upside, SPY starts to come down a little bit. AMD. This is where you've probably seen the 5 cross. Nope, hasn't even crossed yet. Still holding that. Still holding that. Let me go check back on volatility. I think tried to move up a little bit. Still holding the crossover, but it is now on a positive bar, so that's not the best sign for volatility to drop just yet. Got about 6 minutes left in the bar. People still holding on to those puts, my goodness. I need to look through, after today's video, I'll try to set aside an hour to really look through, see if I find some setups, as we're seeing 15-minute divergence at the weekly expected move for the Dow, the IWM, and a daily for the SPY. We'll try to look at these setups start to play out. All right, volatility getting rid of the cross as of right now. We still got 5 minutes left in that. Reversal signal from the 5, and we just got a little gap down on that 5 bar there. Now as it crossed back down, it's just teetering on the edge here for volatility. I think if the SPY can curl this up, then we can say volatility is going to drop. But yeah, this is what I wanted to look at. Sorry guys, I know I'm just trying to get a pulse on the market a little bit here. Interesting. Nail down another 10%. That is just wild to me. Palantir, I'd watch out if this 30-minute crosses over for Palantir. Means be cautious, right? You can see it clearly on the 15. Not the best look. Now this could be a cup and handle. I think it might be because we don't have those bigger reversal signals like a 2-hour, right? I think it might just be a cup and a handle to then head higher, but we'll see. You just want to be careful with those if they curl over on 30 minutes. Still, the most important signal is right here. And then I'm going to check on IWM and the Dow real quick. Yeah, he reacted almost directly down towards that weekly expected move. 15-minute divergence is there for the RSI, not the MACD at the same time. So this could just be some kind of right shoulder for the Dow. The Dow is saying it's more likely to be something like this. Excuse me. And then let me check on IWM. If that would play out, by the way. Dow still has to confirm back up, but IWM is catching a little bit of positivity right now. This is where we pay attention. We go, okay, if that 15-minute crosses up, no real reason for IWM to head down just yet. It's actually a reversal signal that says, hey, this 30-minute can cross up, and then you'd look for a little topping signal maybe for a 30-minute to roll over in here on the short time frames. But for the most part, this looks like we could hold up here if a 15-minute does cross up. You are by a weekly expected, you're at the weekly expected move right now. So if that's going to cross up, that could be a good thing. I want to see if SPY can do the same thing. Because SPY's holding it on both. Dow's not holding it on both. IWM, I believe, holding it on both. So IWM and SPY holding it on both, be a little bit more cautious with the Dow. IWM and SPY saying, hey, we can really reverse the trend around for sure. Right, that's what it's saying if this 15-minute crosses up. But the Dow is saying, if I cross that up, yeah, I can reverse the trend, but maybe just for a moment. It could just be some kind of pullback or some kind of bounce, I guess, since we're heading to the upside with that. But IWM's probably a decent one to watch there, pretty significant. Did volatility cross? It's got 9 seconds. All right, volatility, the VIX did cross on the 30-minute, but I want you to notice something here. That's on a positive bar, right? Sometimes it takes some time. It's got to process it real quick. In between these bars, a lot of the time you'll see a little gap or something like that. But for the most part, you just want to see now that it's crossed over, but it was on positivity. You really want negativity here to be like a little bit more sure that the SPY can do something. So I think the main thing is still just watching this. I know it's kind of boring, but it is probably one of the most important things to do in the market right now. IWM, Dow Jones, and the SPY, looking at those three look like the most top 3 things to look at. To get a sense of direction. If they keep not confirming, and they get rid of those divergences, then you want to look at the bigger time frames because the Dow is rolling down a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. A lot of it. A lot of it. We did leave behind a gap too. Sorry, it's on a 15. I don't like 15-minute divergences. That's why I don't really like doing this today, but I think it's important. And look at IWM trying to base out at that weekly expected move. Now, this could just go to here, right? This could just go here, fill the gap. This could go to up to 223.08. Or it could go retest that 5. Then we'll see what happens. But it's really got to retake some good levels and continue to curl up to be positive again on the shorter time frames. I would say slight indecision bar, slight one from volatility. And the Dow, if you go check on that real quick, look at this on a 15-minute. We'll see if this is able to base out and curl back up. What is the low? Actually, let's do this. What's the low of this? So close. Is that the correct move? 26.78. So you see how we're really, really close to it, and now we're making those signals. Now we're starting to see a bounce. Just the reason I'm not convinced yet of downside, even though the Dow has crossed on the daily, is just because of the signals we're seeing pop up in the areas that we're hitting early on in the week, right? It's only Tuesday. But if it confirms down on a daily, at the end of today on the Dow, ooh, I'll be very, very worried for the market going forward. Ooh, look at that move from IWM. I like weekly expected moves, don't you? They're great. Not seeing the positivity as much for the Dow. My goodness, IWM. If you can cross up here, that'd be pretty solid. Fixes by the center line now. All right, so now we're just waiting, seeing if the SPY can do something here. SPY still never even curling up a 5-minute though. That's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's controlled. That's a good thing. This is controlled. All right, let's see chat real quick. Sorry, guys. The market will correct only when it believes everyone's bullish, and that's where you would say the PCC might have this, like people most likely do have it wrong. We can still see a downfall with a higher PCC, right? We've seen the dollar go up for a long time. This is a massive trap, but at the same time, PCC is really, really high. So if we kept falling below this level, these people would make a lot of money on those plays. it'll correct the moment I close my shorts. Market falling down, but you have reversal signals everywhere. You have one here, you have one here, you have one on the Dow. So you have reversal signals that have formed. They haven't completed, right? They haven't confirmed, but IWM, if it confirms this one soon, that's one to pay attention to, and then the SPY might follow shortly after, and volatility does have a reversal signal to the downside. So if all those things happen at the same time, you can see how that can be pretty bullish, right? You see how that can be decently bullish. If all of these things completed at the same time, you'd be like, wow, those are 3 reversal signals all at the same time. And then you have volatility on top of that reversing to the downside. So that'd be 4 reversal signals all at the same time. Technically, volatility has confirmed it first, but on a positive bar, that's plus 0.21. I like it. I want to see a negative bar. But it's a good hint, right? If that's leaning towards anything, it's a crossover on the MACD, saying, hey, I have divergence here too. If you blow up this RSI, you're going to see what? Divergence down. If you go into a 15-minute, you're going to see what? Little divergence in here, which we had over here. And what happened there? Boom to the downside. So now you have this, boom to the downside, but you have two levels to it, right? So that's why we're just watching closely. Is Google losing it? Well, Google had a very, very strong move. I mean, the thing about this type of move is the 30-minute was able to cross up. Awesome. It's finally going positive. So we're seeing here, you will understand very much more with those courses. And those are down there in the description. I just wanted to mention that. They're going away in November. So get them while they're 90% off. They most likely won't go down to that price point again. I said I was going to leave them till the end of 2025, but I don't want to have, I'm trying not to encourage people to buy during Christmas season, right? I want you guys to take care of your family. So I'm going to end that sale just a little bit early. For this though, these are all popping up. This is what you can learn in the course, right? This is a big point to pay attention to because it's right by our daily expected move. This is a great time to pay attention to this because it's right by a weekly expected move. This is a great time to pay attention to this because it's right by a weekly expected move. So all these things are adding up to, ooh, this can see some upside, all right? This can see some upside if these do confirm. If these do confirm, and that's gonna be the key thing there. SPY heading in the downward direction, okay. So it's not confirming at this moment. Look at the bigger time frames, right? If bigger time frames start to cross down, like the daily, hasn't happened yet, but if that starts to cross down, that's gonna be not a good sign. And look at the IWM, looking like, ooh, that's about to cross down. Not a good sign. So that reversal signal means a ton. And that can save you from trying to take something early, right? You want to see if how that plays out first and then look at it at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to the Dow, let's do the DIA just because we pay attention to that. That is crossing. So you notice how important that divergence is. This needs a strong move so that this doesn't cross. So that's why this is very important on the 15-minute. It's very important for this to cross up and see some positivity. Then you got things like AMC trying to whip back around too. So this is going to mean a lot, and you've already had volatility technically confirmed down just on a positive bar. I'm getting the course for your kids for Christmas. They're going to love it. That'd be fantastic. And if you're someone who can afford that, who can do that for your kids or something like that, really focus on the bigger time frames, especially if it comes to maybe starting investing at a younger age. I've already talked to my niece about it. She wants to get into it. Maybe we can make some videos with my niece. I think that would be a lot of fun, maybe teaching my niece some stuff and seeing how she reacts and things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do like a live video on Patreon or something teaching her how to do things. She just turned 12, guys. So she was talking to me about it. She watches the channel from time to time. She's always like, wow, it's fun to see like you're growing on YouTube. I have no idea what any of it means. And I go, well, let's teach you that. Let's teach you that. And let's show you the monthly charts, right? Because the real people who can benefit from this, weirdly enough, if we do experience some kind of major crash, which I definitely believe we will, but the people who can really benefit from that are going to be, if you really think about it, people who are younger, right? People who can stack money for a bit of time, right? She has nothing to pay for. She just sits there. She made a little business over the summer selling bracelets and things like that. I think that's great. And then she can save up that money, invest it at the right time. And you do it at the right time, you can really grow money fast, especially on the monthly scale. So I think that's really, really cool that you want to do that. That's awesome, Wigglefish. That's so cool. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I'll definitely be teaching my daughter that stuff. I'm sure she'll be a little, I call myself, I'm a cool nerd. Cool gaming nerd, you know? All right, now we're seeing some positivity here for the SPY, just a little bit, right? We don't want to get too much into it. We just want to see, is the IWM, is the Dow going to confirm these signals? That's going to be the big thing. Is this going to confirm, right? Even though it's not on the MACD, I still like to use the MACD for that confirmation. Technically, if the bar posted like this, the RSI would already be saying, hey, that's confirming. You just need an upward type move, a more upward type move for that to really be confirmation, right? That's why I like it. It's a more clear cut on the MACD, even though it's lagging a little bit. Hey, that can do this. We can go up to a daily expected move tomorrow, and then I can say, oh, good trade, right? Look at that. You think that's not a good sign? That is a good sign. We'll see if it holds. 8 minutes left in that. Hasn't crossed up yet. That's why I don't like doing little 15 minutes and stuff like that. So am I doing something with this? Not necessarily, but I'm using this in some way to say, okay, maybe I'll get out of volatility, see that shoot down, then see that curl back up, and then I can be back in. Yeah, NVIDIA's behaving interesting, and it is saying it needs a 15-minute pullback, and that's maybe why the market might suffer, which is why what we talked about a long time ago before we actually caught another move was to the downside was you'll notice there's periods of times where two stocks are holding up the entire market. Okay, so Apple and NVIDIA were the ones holding up the market. Now, if Apple and NVIDIA are going to dip down, what other stocks are going to move? Well, it's going to be like Google, Microsoft, maybe Amazon. And what are you noticing? Well, NVIDIA and Apple are now negative, Tesla negative, AMD negative. But what else is green? Oh, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon, the other big stocks. So I think in some way it's manipulated in that the timing of these things causes the market to stay at a higher level so it never can fully drop. And that's something I actually talked about a little bit over on Twitter. I was just like, hey, just so you're aware, when they added, people were talking about Black Monday, and they added the thing where it's like, hey, if the Dow drops a certain percentage, it kind of freezes everything. It kind of stops the bleeding. That's actually a very bad thing because it promotes markets not to drop, not to react down to fair value in some way. And that's not a good thing. The more things that they implement to stop crashes, it just makes it more of a bubble. And one day it will all blow up and things will get really ugly. And that's why I don't like that. I think markets should market and you just shouldn't pump any fake money into it. That's how I think, right? But obviously we're not there anymore. We're way past that. So now we're in an environment where they won't allow markets to crash in some way. So the thing you're looking for is when the crash does happen, well, what's going to trigger it? How is that going to really react? And that's why I believe bear market is the most likely thing, because they're not going to let the market crash fast. They're going to leak it down, causing actually more pain. I mean, yeah, that 20% down day for the Dow probably caused a bunch of pain, but at least that scare probably convinced people to get out with a 20% loss. A bear market can make you lose, 85% of your portfolio if you really are bad at it. Which is why it's good to take the course down in the description, because very good in a bear market. This is bear market behavior right here in front of you. And he's investing in NVIDIA. And that's perfectly fine. Like, here's the thing. With people investing their money, one thing that we've talked about in the past, and I think it's always good to bring up again, especially as Jack has come in and said, you know, I really want to get the course maybe for my kids. Well, something you can tell them is gravitate towards things that they know, right? Things that they know. And the thing that I'm going to talk about with NVIDIA and your friend who has bought into that or invest in that for the long term or whatever, I don't know where he bought, but for the most part, you would just say this. Do you have an NVIDIA chip in your computer? Right now, I have two computers next to me, right? And I have an NVIDIA GeForce RTX and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX. So since I'm using those products, that means that I think that the company is valuable in some way. So therefore, I need to take that and be like, okay, maybe I'll go look at NVIDIA. And then I can look at the chart and be like, okay, I know that this product is useful. How do I know it's useful? Because I use it. Now I know that AI is coming into play and all that stuff, but for the most part, you just want to see Is something you're using in real life valuable to you? And do you think that a lot of people see it as valuable? Yes? Okay, then go look at the chart. IWM, is it crossing? Well, it is. Right now, it's trying to. It's got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. And then this doesn't mean for sure thing, right? This doesn't mean for sure thing. We could always dip down on a 5 minute one more time, right? Those don't look like the most sporadic, fantastic bars in the world, but it's a 5 minute chart. The 15 minute is crossing, telling you, hey, that can be a good sign. 3 minutes left for that to happen. IWM bouncing off the 20 on the daily. There you go, trying to get to that 20. Very, very good little retracement there, actually. Not able to cross over on the MACD yet. What this tells us too is if we're going to head higher, well, look at that 2 hour. I know we have a divergence all the way across. Maybe we need one of the near price action. This still can happen. It's less likely on the shorter time frames, but if you see that 2 hour curl up, where is it? Positive territory. So look for that next move to go test the high, go make a new one, if that happens. But this 15 minute says the 30 minute is really deep. So in order for us to have a good shot of us doing that, you could see a reaction up, a reaction back down, and then we see something like this set up. Right? There's tons of ways for markets to move. Right now, it's just this is what we want to pay attention to because this could be the first 30-minute bounce. If this is able to confirm in 2 minutes, doesn't mean it has to go up. It means high probable move is to go to the upside here because momentum is kind of signaling, hey, I'm dying out here. I'm buying a weekly expected move. And that's everything we pay attention to. It's very, very nice. Works out a lot when it's behaving like a bear market, which volatility says we are. All right, then. Now we'll pay attention. See that wicking down? And this will be one of those unique moments. You see this moment here, if this does close like that, where you do cross, but you are crossing, but you're below the 9. It's very unique. Usually that only happens like 5% of the time or something like that. So what's the SPY doing? It's giving it up a little bit. What's the Dow doing? Oh, that thing hasn't crossed up yet. All right, so we'll watch this for the last minute here. See if that's crossed up. Then you got to see if the 5 minute crosses down, then that short-term play is not working out just yet. Your timing might be just a little bit off. Alrighty. 34, 33, count it down, 32, 31, 30. Yes, EDJ, you are correct. You're in a system that says 2% inflation a year is a good thing, and that's what we want to aim for. So you could therefore judge and say, well, technically then markets should go up at least 2% per year, because assets can inflate. All right, so we kind of gave it up a little bit there towards the end of the bar. So I would like to see a crossing of the 9 before I make a decision here. This could just curl down on a 5, create more structure. The timing could be a little bit off there. SPY, we'll see if that can cross in. That was a good move. That's a very good move. Now you just got to see if that thing can see another good move, cross up, get above that 5. Qs did not cross down. Apple, ooh, not the best structure, right? Microsoft might react down there. We'll see if that can pull back for a brief moment. I know we're on 15 minutes here. And then the DIA, little gap down there from the 15 minute. Volatility, just so you are aware, the 30 minute is crossing down pretty rigorously here. Pretty rigorously, pretty fast. Cletting down below this low. Got 9 minutes left in that. All right, nice and sounds good. IWM up could mean a little bit of recession fear, and that's just because the fact that people are seeing lower rates. Like if you're going to see drastically lower rates or something like that, right? Recession would mean, hey, we got to cut rates really, really fast to try to stimulate this economy a little bit better or something like that. But right now, that's more just would read into the fact that I'm just seeing a reversal signal. I'm not really trying to read too far into it. I'm just like, hey, I like the signal right now. If that plays out, great. I can manage the trade. If it's not, I'm not going to take it right now. But this told me, hey, manage the trade on volatility for the time being, right? I mean, with this type of look, now we can turn over this 2 hour and make a real divergence, maybe even on an hourly, right? Because I mean, this blip here, I'm not going to read into that too much. I'm just going to say, hey, if this would do that, then I'd be pretty happy if that could turn back around. But that way I can save money in case that does happen. RT, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate you being here today. There's a little bit of black on the bottom of my stream here. Do that. We can fill up that black. Yeah, I think we did. So the 30-minute crossed here, meaning, hey, downside is possible. SPY, we'll see if that can turn up on a 30-minute there. PCC still remaining high. 15-minute divergence is trying to confirm. We'll see if a strong move here can take you back above the 5. That will all be good stuff. What's the daily 5 indicator name? That's right. I wanted to share it with you guys. I just used this one right here. I'd have to really look it up. I pretty much just looked at this. I went here and I typed SMA, right? SMA, and I made a moving average, a simple moving average here. And then what I did was just plugged in 5, and then I put it on every single time frame, right? So I went into this, I said visibility, every single time frame. Instead of just being on the daily, it can be on every single one. And then I did 5, close, offset 0, 5 that, time frame, day. Let's do that. I'm going to select that too. So you can select that, and then that makes it so it won't calculate in between. But if you select it in real time, then it'll kind of update throughout. Yeah, just simple moving average. It's just cool to have because you notice we ride that 5 a lot of the time. When we get reactions down, 5. We get reactions down, we lose the 5, gain it back, right? We make the signal down in here. We react to the 5, go up. We react to the 5, go up. 5, 5, 5. It just hits it so much that it's very, very good to have. We make a signal, we take back the 5. That's the breakout moment and boom to the upside. So just some good stuff there. All right, IWM, turn it down a little bit. So you want to look for this 5-minute. If that crosses, then maybe we go, the timing's just a little bit off. Maybe we want to dip down here one more time, or that could be something bad, right? So we'll see. And then DIA is the other one. Trying to confirm up, but on a negative bar, not the best signal there. And this has not gone down to the weekly expected move. So this 5-minute go down could go down briefly, do that, and then we could find that signal actually at the weekly expected move. That being said, if this is going to take too long, the Dow is crossing over at daily MACD. You need a strong move here from the Dow to really say like, hey, oh, bigger momentum can't take over. If you remain like this and it's kind of slow, then it's like, okay, daily momentum can really add up here to the downside because you're by that weekly expected move. Doesn't mean it has to, but it does mean, hey, the bigger time frame is what I want to pay attention to for the most part. And so if that's curling down, that's not a good look. Volatility is suggesting, though, that this is going to get bullish in some way. We'll see if that actually takes place. Need this to confirm first. right, guys, I'm sorry. Yesterday I tried to stay on a little bit longer. Today I can't do that, so I have to go for the day. I will be back on YouTube later on today at night, so look for that update video. If I see anything interesting, I'll post it to Patreon, and I might jump on the live stream if things get a little crazy. If we start to see a flush in some way below weekly moves, if we start to see confirmations, I might post those to Patreon. But for the most part, thank you guys so much for being here today. If you want to learn any of this stuff, why we're paying attention to the 15-minute right here, well, then you can get those courses down in the description, still 90% off through November. But thank you so much. If you guys are here, you've been subscribed, if you're new here, stick around, keep joining us, keep asking questions. I think it's fantastic that we continue to get new people in here. So, and that's all because of you guys. Thanks for liking. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.